Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We do so many local things here. I traveled the state, 30 crab cakes in 30 days, went from Ocean City out to Deep Creek Lake and back and forth. Part of it inspired by my next guest. And I have, over the last couple of years, had more friends on our airwaves, my sponsors, our local friends, people who support what we do. I don't know why I have not had Julio Bermejo on. Julio is amongst probably 5 or 6 of my best friends on earth that I don't bother with too much with radio. We sneak off to Tokyo, we sneak off to Seoul, South Korea, and we do things. And sometimes we show a little bit on the internet. But Julio, I'm embarrassed that I don't have you on twice a year just to be a tequila expert, to be my friend, to talk some sports, whatever. We're going to end that right now, that for the rest of our lives, which hopefully is another 100 years, you should be on my show at least once or twice a year, brother.
Well, Nestor, I'd love to be on it as often as you want me. I'd love to share the tequila knowledge and a little bit of Bay Area love out to Baltimore.
Well, listen, this all happened. The reason I'm calling you, it's no secret the Raiders and the Ravens are a thing. I don't think it's any secret for the couple of hundred people who 20 years ago piled into Tommy's Mexican restaurant on Geary in the Richmond district for what became a hootenanny when Tony Siragusa laid on Rich Gannon and the Ravens went to the Super Bowl and I got to write books. But I mean, our friendship now, we're working on 27 years, you and I. I was dispatched to Oakland for the Joe Smith Terps game in the March Madness of 1995. Mike Massaro sent me into your place. And, through all of these years, Ravens, Raiders, before that, it was Ghost of the Post with the Colts and the Raiders back in 77. I was at that game. And here we're kicking this whole thing off. And I'm the sad guy flying to Vegas. I don't want to fly to Vegas. I want to fly into Oakland. I want to take the BART. I want to drink with you, your sister, I want to drink with your father. We can't anymore, but I'll drink in his honor, drink with your mother. I'm bummed about the Raiders leaving Oakland in a way that, I guess I shouldn't be. We've stolen a team and we've lost a team in Baltimore, right? But this kind of weirds me out for all Raiders fans, and you are one of them. I brought Jack Del Rio into your place. I actually brought Mike Nolan in your place when he was a 49ers coach. But I feel awful for the Raiders fans you've had him taken away twice in your lifetime now, right?
Yeah, it hurts, Nestor. Like you guys experienced with Baltimore as well. I mean, when they went to LA, it was like a dagger to the heart. But this time, it was a death blow. I mean, we survived LA, but Las Vegas, as great as that city is, it has no football soul or sports soul, And in Oakland and in San Francisco, we loved the Raiders, albeit if you're in San Francisco, we hate them, but you love them. And then as a Raider,
you were a Raider guy, though. You were a Raider.
Oh, I'm a Raider guy.
But I mean, you grew up in San Francisco. Your family has this legendary Mexican restaurant you've had all of your life, but you always identified to me as a Raiders fan, even when they weren't there. I mean, I knew you before the Ravens existed, and you identified as a Raiders fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I support all Bay Area sports, but the Raiders were my jam. But I got to tell you, the move to Las Vegas.
Was it Stabler when you were a kid? Is that, I mean, like literally Van Egan? What made? Okay, go ahead.
It was Ken Stabler. The
Snake. All right, fair enough.
That was it. And Otis Sistrunk, John Matuzak. I mean, the University of Mars. I love it.
Well, I mean, so how old were you? You're a little older than me, but how old were you when the team disappeared then? You were like a teenager like me. I was a teenager when we lost the Colts. And I was, the Ravens came back. I was 27 years old when we got the team back. So from 15 till 27, those years of my life, I was a Houston Oilers fan. I didn't have a team. Oakland went to LA, 81, like that?
Yeah, something like that. But I remained a Raider fan for LA. I kind of thought it was transitional and Oakland would get him back.
And they did.
Yeah, they did. So I had no problem with that. But this time, I unfortunately think that Mayor Libby Schaaf of Oakland has blown it. And they're going to lose him either, or we're going to lose the A's as well. But she blew it. She blew it big time.
Well, this notion that the Raiders are going to plop down in Vegas, you and I have been in Vegas together. We've been in Vegas apart. Well, I've been going to Vegas as long as I've been going to San Francisco most of my life. I was incredibly fortunate to be there the night the Capitals won the Stanley Cup, and ate and drank with the Stanley Cup that night at the Mandarin Orient out on the Strip. I don't know that I'm ever going to have a trip to Vegas quite like that, but this notion of football and the Raiders being there and Nevada and Sheldon Adelsberger getting bent over by the offspring of Al Davis, right? Like all of this that's going into this. You've spent a lot of time in Vegas. This is quite an interesting tourism football play, right? Like they're a nomadic franchise that's now going to put down the pirate ship, right next to the Mandalay Bay off the Strip near McCarran, right?
Yep.
I'm flying in, it'll just be sitting there like a big black hole spaceship thing next to the Luxor. Is it going to work to the way you think about this? Because you have business interest in Vegas too. Everyone I know says, well, look, they only have to sell 60, 70,000 seats 8 times a year, whether it's to Raiders fans or the visiting fans. It will be the hottest ticket. There'll never be a slow game in Vegas. I don't know. I don't. It's weird kicking all this off during the plague. Gruden's getting all this money. The team's not very good, right? It's Monday Night Football. The Ravens, we expect to go out there and win. I'm wondering how it does take a root out in Vegas, Julio.
Well, I agree with you, Nestor. I think the Raiders in Las Vegas are to some regard going to be like the New Orleans Saints have been when they were a losing franchise. Every out of state team or visiting team would pack New Orleans, have a great time, fill up that place, and they'll have no problem filling up that stadium in Las Vegas. I wish the team were better, but as for the Raiders, they're going to make a ton of money, and it's going to be great for Las Vegas.
Julio Bermejo is my guest. He's my lifer friend, one of my true traveling friends that I have touched Europe, South America, and Asia, all with Julio at various concerts. With Cuba, we were in Cuba together, and
Absolutely.
so we have we've done a lot of things together, been a lot of places, but I gave you a hug and a fist bump, and you were kind of ailing a little bit physically almost 2 years ago now. It's crazy that it's been 2 years since you and I were in Tokyo, but it was the first week of December. My wife, we went to Tokyo, went to South Korea. We saw U2. You poured tequila for people, as you always do. We watched the Agave movie, over the Pacific Ocean. Give me a little vibe on San Francisco, your town. I'm not coming there this weekend. Julio, my dear friend Hell's John Keller's coming up from Little Rock, Arkansas, 2 weeks from now. He's going to be spending a long week at San Francisco. He's never been. Going up to Napa, never been. Any of that stuff. I've been to Napa with you and Sammy Hagar, for crying out loud. San Francisco was one of the first places ravaged in this thing. New York, obviously ravaged in this thing. Seattle, the early going places where international travelers first brought it into the country, right? And you had this early shutdown that I saw, and I'm like, oh my God. 2 weeks later, it was here. Like it was in Italy, then it was you, then it was me, New York, all of that. I've been back to New York twice this summer to see Springsteen. I've seen every third business boarded up. I've seen people living in alcoves on 7th Avenue, like in a way, dystopian shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like crazy stuff. And the San Francisco thing, there were always challenges with homeless. There was always a real imbalance with economics. Your sister's been on the front of that. These goofballs trying to get rid of Gavin out there that's going on. And all of the politics aside, give me life and owning a restaurant in San Francisco right now that's a legendary place, in a place that I don't know. Are you open for business in the way that I would get on a plane and come there for a football game this week, Julio?
Nestor, we are open for business, but it's not the same kind of business. So when the pandemic started, San Francisco was one of the most progressive cities, and we shut down pretty quickly. And right now we have very high double vaccination rates. We still have some pockets of individuals, mainly in the hospitality sector, that are apprehensive to receive the vaccine because of lack of education, whether it's a concern for immigration or some of them believe that it's not good for you. But even though we're open, like every restaurant in the United States, we face severe staff shortages. So the restaurant's not fully open. Our bar is not open, right? Less than half of
Whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
restaurant's
whoa, whoa, whoa.
open.
Hold. I can't come sit at your bar right now.
Right now, you cannot.
That is a tragedy. I mean,
Yeah.
so my man Hell's coming out to visit with you. He's not going to get the rich experience that I have come to know and love over 3 decades, right? Like literally, you can't even play Stairway to Heaven. That's your bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's your place, man.
Absolutely. There's one good thing that happened in the pandemic. San Francisco was one of the cities, like New York, that allowed people to build shared spaces outside, or parklets, as we call them. So we have a parklet.
Oh, nice. So I
this,
can sit outside.
Oh, yeah, you can sit outside. And Nestor, to some extent, the police turns a blind eye, as they do on crime, to now drinking on the street. So you can drink on the street in front of Tommy's if you like.
Well, I just might do that. Yeah,
That's kind of
don't
worth it.
tempt me. I've done a lot of things in San Francisco. Drinking in front of your place is one of the things I have not done. So, Julio Bermejo, tell everybody about. I mean, you're the world's worst guy at bragging on yourself until I get to your bar, and then your expertise becomes apparent to others. I always say you're an ambassador of all things tequila to the United States. I call you my tequila buddy. You were almost pouring in Annapolis a couple of weeks ago. If you get back east of the Mississippi, dude, the Stones are opening the tour in St. Louis. You meet me on the 26th, halfway. I'll meet you halfway. The Gateway, you and me at the Gateway Arch with Mick and Keith, what's left of the Stones. We'll go to Pappy's and get legitimate barbecue. I'll take you for the best frozen custard you've ever had in your life at Ted Drew's in St. Louis. Come on, man. Meet me halfway for the Stones.
On the 26th of September?
26th September. It's a Sunday night. I'm supposed to be in Detroit for a football game. Guns N' Roses are playing the Royal Farms Arena, our little arena here in Baltimore, 6 blocks from my house. GNR is playing here that night. But the Stones are playing the first show they've ever played without Charlie Watts in what used to be the home of the Rams in St. Louis, obviously. It is
wow, but how do we get tickets?
You go on the internet, man. Come on, don't worry about tickets.
Uh-huh.
These are not first world problems that we have, Julio. We'll work out tickets. What we need to do is, proximity is power. You know this is a Tony Robbins principle. We have to be there. In order for you and me to bump into each other accidentally in Sao Paulo, Brazil on a beautiful March night in 2006, we both had to be in Sao Paulo, Brazil in order to bump into each other. So I need to get you. If we were in Sao Paulo, Brazil, why can't we be in St. Louis, Missouri? Not East St. Louis, Missouri.
I'll be in St. Louis on Saturday. Maybe if I like it, I'll go back.
Well, that's right. You're going to the Cardinals game, right?
Yeah, Cardinals and Reds. First time ever at Busch Stadium.
You been to a Giants game this year?
No, only A's games.
So you're more A's too than Giants.
Well, no, I'm a Giants fan, but I just haven't had the chance to go to a Giants game. So I go to games like Monday and Tuesday, but usually all the night games in San Francisco are too cold, whereas on Monday or Tuesday, the A's will play in the day. And so that's pretty nice. And it's my day off.
Julio, I would tell you that when people ask me about baseball, and, again, I ran into you in Cuba. We were at the Orioles.
Baltimore game.
Yeah, the Baltimore game in 99. We were in Havana together for that game. And I've been to a lot of legendary sporting events and 27 Super Bowls and like all of that stuff. When people ask me the best baseball game I ever attended, I went with you, your dad, your mom, your family. It was game 5 of the ALDS. The Red Sox, the Johnny Damon stretcher game. It was the crotch chop, Tejada, all of that, man. That was the
epic.
Best baseball game. Just not no-hitters or any of those kinds of – I've probably been to 45, 50 World Series games. I mean, I was at the game when Leyritz hit the home run. I've been in Champaign. All of that. But I was at the Cal Ripken game in 90. I've been at a lot of serious baseball games. But to me, when people ask me, That was the best baseball game I ever attended. I walked up, I bought a ticket 10 rows off of third base for like $18. We could heckle the third base coach from where I sat in the old Oakland Coliseum. You know, I have such a soft spot for that stadium because it reminds me so much of Memorial Stadium here in Baltimore. It's like it's like a throwback in time for me. But that game, man, like greatest events of my life with you, man. So like if you come to see the Stones in St. Louis, it'll be great. I promise.
You're tempting me, Nestor. All right, careful.
I know. Give me a tequila update. My friends at King Liquors, my longtime friends, back in the beginning of the pandemic, I went in there in maybe June or July, and they said tequila was a real problem. This was production and getting it out. Your family's been in tequila business forever. You're married into it. You sell it. You're famous for it. For my audience, who may be mezcaling or whatever they're doing at this point, they may be Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo, whatever they are on the tequila spectrum and pendulum. How's tequila doing? Because people love tequila. People I know that love tequila, they drink it. But I think there may have been some sort of shortage, real or perceived, last year.
Oh, it's real and it's continuing. So, Nestor, to give you an idea of how much the tequila category has grown, this year, for the first time ever in the United States, the tequila category overtook the entire bourbon category and the entire rum category in terms of sales. So
more than rum, huh? Rum's really, and vodka's like over the last
vodka's
15
the number
years
one
been
selling
crazy,
spirit
right?
in the States.
Right.
Followed by all whiskey, so Scotch, Japanese, bourbon, American, etc.
Julio, when I met you in 1995, tequila in my vernacular, and I was then almost 26 years old, right, was the thing with the worm in the bottle that you did and you threw up in Tijuana, and it was not brought to my world as a premium spirit, nor was vodka, though. It was more gin then, and rum and whiskey and Jack Daniels and Van Halen, and like all, those were the 80s spirits to me. The vodka thing is a very this century thing, is it not?
Yes, indeed. But what people have found out is that the way you feel when you drink agave, 100% agave, is so different that it is really attracting a new clientele that is in many ways been spearheaded by the celebrity tequila movement, right? So all these celebrities started drinking tequila because they think it has less calories, because it's an upper, not a downer. And they found out that when they drank it, they felt really good the next day. You drink a liter of Jack Daniels, you're in a fist fight or you're in jail, right?
Right. Well, we've all had that experience, right? And,
Yep.
and I would say this, when you say the celebrity part of this, dude, let's just start with Jimmy Buffett doing Margaritaville in 1976, 7, 8, 9, whatever it was, right? To sort of say there is this drink that I had when I was in an island once that had limes and tequila and woohoo, and and then somebody took a trip to Cancun or something, and that was their first experience, sort of the gateway to this, right? We talked about the gateway to the Rolling Stones in St. Louis. The gateway to all of this was probably not the way you would prefer tequila to be portrayed, couched, and demonstrated, quite frankly, which is what you do in San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jimmy Buffett was on a good thing because, after all, the margarita is the number one call cocktail in the United States most of the year. But the problem is how people make their margaritas. If everyone would make a Tommy's margarita, so simple proportions of margarita that I created, they would be able to taste the great qualities of tequila that are balanced by lime juice and agave, and they would find themselves wanting to drink more and more of them. But the margarita,
This is correct. Yes.
luckily,
So 28 years into this, I do want to drink more and more of them. And Jen brought home some limes the other day that were a little tough. They were a little young. You know what I mean? Like I've seen you pick limes, and I am now to the point, and especially doing this crab cake tour and channeling my inner Anthony Bourdain for tasting foods, and you slicing open fruits in the middle of markets in Brazil with me 20 years ago, that my palate on even a lime, the profile, if the lime sucks, the drink will be diminished. There's no doubt about that. And I don't mean like a brown lime or something that's gnarly or old or whatever. I'm just talking about something that would have more of a bitterness to it or more of a tartness to it than maybe the kinds of limes that you shipped to our wedding 18 years ago, right?
well, Nestor, that's a great point, because you cannot use a key lime, but also, even though organic things are the rage, this past weekend, my fruit and veg purveyor sent me organic California limes, and they were sweet. They had no acidity. And so we couldn't use them because the drink was absolutely terrible. So even though it was the same variety, the fact that the ground was different, the soil was different, or the terroir was different, the flavor was completely
different. It really
different.
is incredible when your palate changes that I can taste coffee across continents. I probably would be a really good wine person now if I loved wine more, because I can taste things in food, and especially in fresh food. And I really owe this to you as much as anyone in eating natural foods and vegetables and fruits specifically, that in summertime, how many different tomatoes there are,
Yeah.
how many different varieties of corn there are. I mean, I've discovered gold watermelon. Most people have never had a gold watermelon, right? Like, and I hadn't had one till I was 45 years old. Now, the last 10 years, the different kinds of food. Jen has a pot of Maryland crab soup, and it's huge, and it's on right now, and I smell it as we're doing this, because we did this crab cake tour, and we were eating crab soups, and they all had different profiles at different places. I cannot replicate your shrimp Veracruz. I cannot replicate. I try to replicate your drinks, but if the lime's bad, you never think you order an orange crush, like that orange may be a little bitter or tart or whatever, and the vodka offsets it. And it's 9 a.m. You paid $5. You don't care anyway, right? But to do what you do at the level you do, and we're talking about top 50 bar in the world. I've been with you in places where you're pouring expensive drinks, artisan drinks, drinks that, like a Chopped episode, you're being graded on, and there's competitions and stuff like that. It never occurred to me, and I'm eating crab cakes everywhere, the quality of the crab meat, everything. I mean, absolutely. You can dump mayonnaise in it. You can have the greatest slurry, filler, breadcrumbs, egg, technique, temperature, all that. If your product stinks, it's over.
Yep.
I'm telling this to a world legendary restaurateur, but I've really come to learn this in my 50s, Julio. It took me a long time.
Well, Nestor, it sounds like you're a super taster.
I have super taste. You know that.
Nice.
I'm Gucci. You've hung out with me. Tell everybody how they can get involved with the tequila movement for you, or some education from you. You've done so many things, but do you direct anyone to any one place and say, if you want to learn about tequila, watch this video, or obviously come to your bar, is what I would tell everybody. Go to San Francisco and go to Tommy's Mexican Restaurant on Geary in the Richmond District. But for people like me, try to take a little piece of you with me. And when I make someone a drink, I'm like, this is a Tommy's, and it's very simple. There's a lime, there's agave, and there's, maybe a little salt on the shaker, a little bit, and there's a premium tequila of your palate. And my palate is a Blanco palate. I taste reposados, and they're okay. They're fine. I'm a little more refined with it now, a little more smoky and different things like that. But I like what I like.
Oh, but you're on the right track. And that's the beauty of the versatility of tequila, Nestor. So if you like Blancos, Blancos are there for you. If you want age, that's there for you as well. But, the beauty of finding the right Tommy's margarita for each person is that each person has to just make that discovery with their own palate. And you do have to experiment a little bit and go through some blancos, go through some repos, go through añejos, and then see what you like. There's never a right answer, right? But always enjoy drinking what you enjoy drinking and use great ingredients. Like you said, if you buy the most expensive tequila and buy crappy limes, you're going to have a crappy margarita. You buy crappy tequila and great limes, it's the same thing. In the kitchen
Like good
or in the
music and a
bar.
bad speaker. I learned that, man. You can have the best Zeppelin. You can have the CD, do the whole thing. Where you put it in, the speakers stink. No good. No bueno, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Julio, I think we've done tequila, we've done Raiders, we've done friendship. The only thing we haven't done, and I'm going to throw myself on the mercy here because, like, I'm ready to expand my palate. So when I come back to your place, I'm going to have you pretend you don't know me, which is easy to do sometimes. I know for you. Pretend you don't know me, and we're going to sit and I want to go back to college again for the first time in 25 years. And I want you to pour me a few different kinds of margaritas that maybe because my palate has become more refined, more advanced, I eat more things. You know, one thing you turned me on to, dude, capers, man. Capers
Oh,
and
beautiful.
like things that I didn't eat when I was 30 that as a 52-year-old, I can't imagine my dining experience without this wide palette of things. But I love your restaurant. I just got to get back to your place.
Thank
Will
you.
you take me to a new school and get me onto some new? I'm trying to branch out and do things I've never done, which is why I went to Deep Creek Lake and did all this crazy stuff last month. It was more of an idea to see places I've never seen.
Well, absolutely, Nestor. We will continue to demonstrate terroir through the margarita the next time you're at Tommy's. So, one little notion back to tequila for the audience out there. There's two main styles, Highland and Valley. Neither one is better or worse. They're just different. You so far are a Valley person. So you like
Okay.
Herradura, you like Fortaleza. Those are beautiful Valley tequilas. The Highland products are like Don Julio, Cabo Wabo, Siete Leguas, El Tesoro. Not better, not worse, just totally different because of where that agave was grown. And we can demonstrate those flavors even in the margarita side by side.
I'm telling you, man, I almost came out to you this weekend. I thought if the Ravens are playing the Raiders, I need to be in the Bay Area for old time's sake.
Well,
No
I wish
what.
they were in Oakland.
Well, I would have come out and done 2-3 days in San Francisco and then go. Vegas is too expensive, man. I'm going in on Sunday night, straight business trip, in, game, out, and then we got the Chiefs next week. I know you're going to be seeing them play this week as well. Julio, I want everyone to stay in touch. I send folks out. I think my friend John and Jackie are going to be bellied up to your berm out in front, drinking legitimate drinks that you pour them or your mom pours for them. So I will be sending some patrons your way, and I really do hope I get out there. Dude, I'm sitting, if I held my phone up, I'm sitting on my Ticketmaster here, and I'm not making this up, man. This is legitimate. Let me go in here and pull it up. This is not, I am sitting on Stones tickets in Pittsburgh on the 4th, but I have, this is honest to God. These are my Pearl Jam. These are my Pearl Jam tickets on my Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
And they're for Oakland. This is the Oakland Arena. I got 4 tickets. Oakland Arena right here. 2 and 2, both shows. These are my Stones tickets there. I am sitting on Pearl Jam tickets in Oakland for whenever they decide to do it. We can get these crazy bastards to take their shots and get rid of the Delta variant and any other variants we're going to have. But I see you, dude. I want to get there soon, right?
Yep, me too. Me too. We need everybody to get vaccinated.
All right, man. Rolling Stones, you and me. Do it. Let's do it. Come on. Come
All
on.
right,
It's the
September
fall.
26th. Don't tempt me.
Dude, I have an extra ticket. You mentioned tickets, okay? I would never in a million years try to encourage you to go to Pittsburgh, okay? But, and I'll open the app up right here. I have 4 tickets right here on my app. Literally lucky dips. You see the Stones? That
Yep.
Charlie's in that picture. He won't be in Pittsburgh, but he's in the picture here. I am sitting on these Stones tickets, lucky dip tickets here, okay? So this is Pittsburgh. That's the 4th.
4th of what month?
October. Dude, we're not buying green bananas here. This is the Rolling Stones, okay? We got to, you know what I'm saying here?
No, I was backstage for that Cuba show.
All right. But if you want to do it, the 26th St. Louis, the 4th of October in Pittsburgh. I'm not betting after that. After that, I'm settling in. My birthday's in October. I got Ravens games here in town. My wife's going hiking with her sister, so I'm not messing around in the middle of October. But
where are they playing at in St. Louis? At Busch Stadium or where?
no, they're playing the football. They're playing the dome, the old TWA dome.
Oh, okay. And you're good with being inside with 70,000 people?
It's got a big roof, dude. I mean, you know, these people in Missouri. Don't. Never mind.
COVID's pretty
I'm
good there.
double vaxxed. I'm masked up. I'm not touching anyone. I wouldn't even touch you as much as I love you. I would elbow bump you, but that would not stop me from getting frozen custard with you in St. Louis, having some ribs, smuggling in some limes from across the border. You know, make sure we got proper drinks, you know. Julio, I love you, man. And I'm sorry I'm not getting out to the Bay Area. I just wanted to pass on my condolences for you losing your football team. And the fact that I'm going to Vegas and it doesn't feel like it should feel. You know what I mean? I should be more excited. I should be getting there early, staying up late. Plagues can wear you down. You know, I've always heard that about plagues. It's true.
It sucks.
Well, give my best to your mom and your sister and everybody out there. And Yejos and Reposados next time I come out, all right?
You got it, Ness. Thank you so much.
I'm going to be like a butterfly. I'm going to flap my wings. I'm going to become a new tequila guy. I'm going to go Highland instead of the Valley. I love learning about tequila. Julio Bermejo, he is Tommy's Tequila. And if you've ever been anywhere at a restaurant, they have a drink menu and they offer you a Tommy's margarita. That's Julio's drink, and you should get it. And it will change your world. It changed my world back in 1995 on a crazy business trip to San Francisco, where I left my heart many, many times. You can find me anywhere the internet is established and tequila is sold, and cold beer is available at a reasonable price. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere the Ravens are, except maybe not Detroit. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking tequila, my favorite thing, shrimp Veracruz, and Baltimore positive.